On the air
Just kidding.
in
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to another week of the Vessels in Between, baby.
Woohoo.
I feel like we should celebrate literally every episode. It feels like a win.
It does. I think getting together feels like a win.
That's
We're
so
like,
true. If we can get together and both have the capacity to sit here and make this podcast, then we've won the Super Bowl. Truly, we've overcome so many obstacles to get here this week. I am recovering from being on my literal deathbed.
mm,
And Heidi, you're just going through life as
just
best you
going through
can,
it. Yeah, trying to survive,
trying to survive. I feel like that's a lot of people's situation right now,
Oh,
unfortunately.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
when we can make it to the spaces where we show up for ourselves, we count it a win and we celebrate it
Yeah.
when we can.
And I'm excited because this episode is the week out. Is it the week? When did we publish the first one? It was on Monday.
On Monday, yeah, so almost a week,
Yeah.
five
So
days.
it was exciting. It was a full moon. Maybe that's why I'm going through it.
True. Always look to the lunar cycle. But for those of you who are new here, my name is Destiny. I am a lesbian tarot reading witch,
And I'm Heidi, a bilingual psychic medium.
and we love to talk about all things metaphysics, paranormal, ADHD, and everything in between.
Oh yeah.
So if you like those things, if you have those things, if you relate, we're in the right space. Thanks for
Hang out with
coming.
us.
Hang out with
Yeah.
us. Today we're going to be talking about hauntings. Are you here because your house is haunted, girl? Why'd you click on this episode?
Ooh.
It is October and we are feeling the spooky vibes right along with the
Yes.
rest of our witchy community. So we figured why not talk about probably what all got us interested in this field in the first place: hauntings, paranormal, what to do when you have a spirit entity in your house, what that feels like, and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I know for me, I was obsessed with everything paranormal and haunted growing up as a kid, and it just kind of never left me. I feel like becoming a witch and becoming a medium or realizing my mediumship abilities is really like the largest ode to my inner child in a way that I didn't
Yeah.
even recognize that my inner child really needed it. I
Yeah.
would always watch like paranormal activity or like my haunted house or a haunted celebrity stories or whatever that show was on
Mm-hmm.
TV, like the Sci-Fi Channel or something. And my sister has vivid memories of me like making her watch it when I was home babysitting her or kicking her out of the living room so I could watch another haunted show. And I'm Gen Z, so I grew up with YouTube in my face.
Mm.
And there was a YouTuber that I followed. Her name was Graveyard Girl. Shouts to Graveyard Girl. Love you, Bunny. But
Is that are they still
she,
around?
yeah, she's still around.
Oh, nice.
But she started doing videos like in graveyards and like of
Mm.
haunted dolls and haunted things. Like she was just a spooky girl. These days, she's more of like an unboxing toy review,
Oh,
like
okay.
campy YouTuber.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But her roots are in paranormal activity. And
Mm-hmm.
I would watch her all the time. And that's another thing that my sister always talks about is me watching Graveyard Girl when my parents weren't home. So I grew up into it. I
Yeah.
loved it. Did you like the paranormal realm as a kid?
Oh my God, so much. I feel like it's this weird thing because one of the things that makes me so uncomfortable is uncertainty, but it's uncertainty in the real world.
Yeah.
But then there's like this unknown, this mystery, um, that's that's not that can't be seen. Um, that's where I'm like, what? How did that? I'm just more into it because real world stuff is not. not as fun.
So true. I always say, and you always agree, really is what I mean, is
Hmm.
that it's way more fun to talk to dead people than it is to talk to alive people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'll take them any day of the week, for
You know what
real.
I was thinking? I was thinking about that Never Trust the Living, um,
Yeah, valid.
from Beetlejuice. And yeah, so I was into all things paranormal. I liked movies like Beetlejuice, which were silly, but like you were saying, paranormal activity where there were scary things about it, right? Where then I would watch a scary movie and then everything after the movie was super scary. Like all
Oh,
the
yeah,
noise.
you're like running to your bed or running down the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, ah, in the middle of the night, I have to use the restroom. And also, I'm never getting up to use the restroom in the middle of the night
Yeah, 100%.
ever again.
Do you like horror movies now or no? You're not really a big horror fan.
I do actually, but you know what I don't like? I love I love thriller, horror, scary movies. I can't with the gore.
Oh,
Like,
that is so valid.
you
That
know?
is so valid. Sometimes when a movie is too gory, I literally have to cover my eyes.
Yeah.
Like it
And
will make me sick.
yeah, and I think honestly, so did you watch what is it? American Horror Story
Yes.
series? Okay, I had to stop at a certain point because it was like they were trying to make it super like
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like I just want to know the story. So what I would do is read it online. I'd read the plot because I couldn't watch it. It was too much.
And that is valid. I love horror movies though, and I will deal with the gore. And like, I can appreciate a certain level of gore in a horror
Hmm.
movie. I can appreciate it cinematically, if you will, but it is definitely my least favorite type of scary movie. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially the new one when the whole bus is filled with blood, people's like bodies are getting severed. Cool, get the concept. You really nailed, you drove that point home and you drove it into the living room. A little too
Moving
far
on.
there. Let's move on. I get it. Everybody died. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I do still love paranormal scary movies. Do you
Hmm?
like the Insidious series, Conjuring series?
Yes, I do like that. And actually, it's so funny because last night we watched, or I rewatched, but it was one of my kids' first time watching it too.
Oh, it
And
too did me in with the grandma that runs down the hallway naked and
oh
she's
my
like
God,
super tall.
that's what my kid was like. The grandma. That's all my kid had to say. The grandma. I knew. I don't remember movies very well once I see it, like,
Yes, I'm
but
the same way, but the grandma you
I
always remember.
remember. Yes, that was, what is that? Why?
I don't know. Excellence,
Yeah.
horror excellence, it must
Yeah.
be because I don't get like kept awake by scary movies,
Hmm.
but I remember watching that movie when it first came out. Haven't watched it since, by the way, and being nervous of like the dark corners and the grandma and thinking
Yeah.
about the grandma at
Yeah.
nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands together for it too. That's a good
Yes.
one.
Yes. So it's exciting
Have you watched
also.
Heretic about
Not
the
yet.
Mormons?
I want to. Have you seen that one?
I did. I just watched it. It's actually really good. It's really good. It's like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
It's good.
See, those are the ones that I like a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
religious undertones,
Yeah, or
cult
like the
education. Girl, I'm there.
psychological thriller
Yeah,
sort of stuff. Yeah.
I am sat. You gotta watch it. It's on
Hmm.
uh HBO if you
Oh,
have it.
I don't.
Do a free trial. It's worth it.
Okay.
Me and Mel were sick this week, we like just got all the subscriptions. Subscribe to Apple TV, subscribe to HBO. I was like,
That's
we're
so
watching
smart.
everything.
Yeah, because you're home and
Home and dying.
what
I need
else are you
something to
gonna
watch
do?
for real. So,
Yeah.
Heretic, 5 stars.
Oh,
Anyway, We got here because we're talking about the portrayal of hauntings in
Oh,
movies,
that's
horror
right.
movies.
I forgot we were recording.
Closing the circle, closing the circle. Hauntings are not what they appear in movies.
Mhm.
Is there real poltergeist activity?
Yeah.
Yes. Does it usually ever come in the severity that it is on movies portrayed in Hollywood? Absolutely not. And maybe there are a few really severe cases. I believe that.
Yeah.
But it is not the norm for a haunting. And I don't think
No.
it's what most people experience. And I think you're very slimly likely to ever experience or know somebody who has experienced a haunting of that level.
Hmm.
Um, Most hauntings, I would say, probably a little bit of poltergeist activity, maybe cabinets being left open,
Oh, yeah.
things being moved,
Doors being
curtains
open
fluttering, doors open and closing,
and sounds too.
sounds like footsteps.
Sounds is a big one.
Yeah, smells,
Smells,
sudden
yep.
smells. So an active presence is real, and a lot of
Hmm.
people experience that. And even more people experience that tense feeling, I think, when it's
Hmm.
dark or when they're alone, the feeling of being watched, having to hold your breath, looking over your shoulder.
And you know what? Really quick, when you said when you're alone, I feel like that is usually when it happens. Is not when you're alone. Sorry. What I mean is when things are quiet.
Mm-hmm.
When at night there isn't so much loud stuff happening outside, or the hustle and bustle is what I'm trying to say. It's calm, and or not calm, not everywhere's calm. um
Yeah.
but there's just this quietness of the night and of sometimes being alone. And yeah, it's it's interesting
It
how
is
that happens.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever experienced a haunting?
Mm, a haunting, like because I guess I think of hauntings like as a persistent thing, an ongoing activity.
Yeah.
So I would say no. However, since becoming a medium, I feel like I'm always surrounded by
Yeah.
spirit.
So true.
And it's interesting because uh you have to kind of learn how to shift your awareness, right? Of I'm going to be present, I'm going to be here in Heidi's world, and then if I need to or if I want to, I will shift into Heidi acknowledging the spirit world. Um, but I have had things happen. Like I was alone one day, and we have stairs in one part of the house, and we only had cats at the time. So I heard something going down the stairs, and it sounded like a ball. You know how you know that what that sounds like?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, it's one of the cats. Because I had seen the ball earlier at the top of the stairs. And I was like, it's one of the cats. They're just messing around. I look around, I have all of the cats with me. And so I go, huh, that's interesting
That's
because
interesting.
I remember very clearly that the ball was not, because there's some mundane reasons that you can explain
Mm-hmm.
the ball going down the stairs. But this ball was not near the edge. There was no way, like someone had to move it. Someone had to move it for it to go down the stairs. And so this was actually before I started my mediumship stuff. And the first thought that came to my head was one of the cats that had passed away. It
Mm.
wasn't my cat. It was a cat that had lived there before. And that cat came to my mind, and I was just like, "Oh, hey," because at that moment I think it was scary at first, the thought,
Mm-hmm.
but then when she came into my head, it felt comfortable and familiar.
And
And
like a sense of knowing.
yeah. And so at that time it was right before things started clicking for me, but I was trusting my intuition more. And I remember somebody saying the first thing that comes to your mind tends to be who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was like, oh, hey, you can keep playing. I just didn't know it was you. Yeah, that was a cool experience.
That is a cool experience.
Hmm.
I have had an experience where I knew that my meditation room had an unfamiliar in it. And that is the best way I can describe it because it didn't feel necessarily haunted. Haunted has such a negative annotation.
Yes.
It didn't feel negative. It didn't feel scary to me. It felt uncertain and I felt nervous.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is here? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm a witch that works with dead people.
Hmm.
That opens doors that aren't organically open, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it wouldn't have been surprising to me if there was somebody that had made it past the gate that I didn't intend to make it past the gate. But at the same time, I know that my guides keep a tight lock on
Yeah.
the gate.
Right.
So it was still like came out of nowhere to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I ended up doing like lots of divination and mediumship, and found out that it was a child. The spirit felt very childlike. And so I just said, like, hey, glad you feel safe here. Thanks for visiting. I'm not your permanent keeper.
Hmm.
Like, feel free to pass through if you need a break or something,
Hmm.
but I'm not your girl full time. And then I ended up going to work the next day, and one of the people that I work with asked me to bring home her daughter's ashes to
What?
put on my altar because she was in the middle of an awful situation and trying to move places and wanted to make sure that she was safe.
Wait, this was the next day?
Yeah, it was like literally the next day.
That is so
And I was
strange.
like, well, that's 100% who the kid was. And I was
Yeah.
hesitant to tell her at first, but I did end up telling her.
Yeah.
Um, just vaguely. I was like, I literally did pick up on like a child spirit that was passing through.
Wow.
And she ended up keeping her ashes with her, and I
Hmm.
never brought her home. But just the fact that somebody would even consider,
Yeah.
letting me have their kid with
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and in my space was a huge honor. So I'm glad that she felt safe enough to come pass through. But I think
Yeah.
that was the closest thing that I can really remember to a haunting that was unexpected.
So,
Um,
can I ask you, when you say you felt something unfamiliar, how, I guess my question as somebody who maybe is listening and doesn't know what that would feel like, what does that feel like?
it feels like somebody's in the room with you.
Hmm.
It feels like
Like somebody's watching you and it's
loud.
uncomfortable?
Yeah, like I don't know how to describe it in a way that like perfectly makes sense, but it just feels like there's an occupant
Yeah.
in the room. Versus when I come in here and it's all familiars, it feels like I just like meld and mesh into this environment.
Hmm.
Versus when there was an unfamiliar or when I'm doing work with somebody who's not a familiar to me, I'm doing mediumship.
Hmm.
It feels like almost like thicker. It feels a little
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't feel as just like comfortable and like it doesn't feel as spiritually and emotionally like spacious, you know?
That's actually I would say that's a great description because you're right. I feel like when I'm connecting with someone I don't know, it feels a little bit more dense, a little bit more
Yeah.
thick, where you are connecting with an unfamiliar energy. And it's not that it's negative, it's just it's different. You don't it's like meeting somebody for the first time.
I was just gonna say, it's the difference between talking to a stranger, carrying a
Hmm.
conversation with a stranger, and carrying a conversation with somebody that you've known for a really long time, or your partner, or your mom, or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
It feels familiar, comfortable. You don't have to think about it. But
Or
then when you talk to a stranger, there's an unfamiliar, all of a sudden you're like, you're just thinking about it more. You're more aware. You're more cognizant of what's going on around you, you know?
yeah, or it's like it's also when you're sharing a space, like roommate situation. For example, me and my now husband, we shared a space with another couple and we got along great. But in the shared spaces, you kind of sometimes feel like awkward, like I don't belong here right now.
Yes.
And so that kind of that feeling, I feel like is that where you've walked into a familiar room, but then you're like, I don't know if I should be here right now.
That is perfect. That's
Right?
totally what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's or like you feel rushed in and out, like, oh, I got to get out of here. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good indicator
Yeah.
that there's an unfamiliar there for sure.
Right.
If you're not seeing the outward signs, like my mom had her Christmas tree turning like 25 degrees last year.
Oh, you told me this. Yes, it's a great
Yeah.
story.
Where my grandpa's ornament with his picture was turning towards a crocheted snowman that her mom had made and not finished before she passed. And my mom didn't make that correlation, but she just called me. She finally gave in. My mom is a good Christian conservative woman. And she finally caved and called me and asked me what the hell was going on.
Uh-huh.
And if I thought it could be spiritual, haunting, spirit activity, I said, is this ornament facing this thing? Because I knew about the ornament.
Hmm.
And she said, yes, it is. And I
Hmm.
said, well, girl, they just want to be together. He's just trying to look at her.
Oh my
And I
God.
pulled tarot on it and it confirmed the whole thing. Queen and King of Swords came up, describing them perfectly.
Oh
Like,
wow. Oh,
there
I
was a
got
card
chills
about,
when you said that.
yeah, there was a card in the specific deck. It was the wheel, but in this deck, it represents the holy days,
Yeah.
which, what does that sound like? Holidays. It was around Christmas
Yeah.
time because that was their favorite time. It referenced
Mm.
Yule in the description. It was just all these undeniable things that it was the two of them indicating to her that they were still together
Well,
and
together and
active
present.
and present. Yes, exactly. Yeah, haunting isn't always dramatic.
No.
It's not always, again, cinematic, and it's not always negative.
Hmm.
Some key ways to know if you are experiencing a negative haunting would be persistent illness. Obviously, mundane over magic. Take your
Yes.
medicine, go to the doctor, get shit checked out. But sometimes, if you don't have an explanation and you're only getting sick at certain times, that could be an indication of a negative entity. If you feel really drained all the time, if your relationships that don't usually suffer are now suffering, that can be an indicator. And feeling like genuinely uncomfortable and like stalked rather than just like joined in
Mm-hmm.
good spirit, right? Like if a positive entity is joining you, you may feel on edge but not afraid, genuinely afraid. Shadows, I feel like, are often signifiers of negative entities. What can you think of?
Well, it's funny because when you say shadows, I'm trying to think of what you mean because the apparition that I talked about seeing, they did look like a shadow
Mm-hmm.
in my peripheral, but I could tell who it was. And that's a weird thing to say because I saw them, but I didn't see them. I don't know
I
how to
know what you
explain.
mean. You saw them
Yeah,
out of the corner of your eye.
but it was like a shadow. But I know what you mean in the negative sense, but I feel like sometimes I see things in my peripheral that look like shadows.
I agree with you. I think if you're seeing like unmoving, unchanging shadows, almost like trying to challenge you,
I
that are like
see.
still, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Um, that's a different
That
ball game.
that makes sense.
Things out
Okay.
of the corner of your eye, sure, sure. But if you're seeing like what a lot of people describe as like the Hat Man, even though, like, yes, he's supposed to be protective of the lores, that he's protective, whatever. But if
Hmm.
you're seeing things of that nature where it's literally something not moving and looking at you or talking to you that you can see, I
Like
would
a
really,
shadow coming closer to you.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
maybe let's get the banishment train moving, you know? My in-law has a story where she saw my now fiance, her daughter, standing
Hmm.
at the edge of the bed trying to wake her up, and her daughter was asleep.
Excuse me.
Girl, no, that I would not put that in the positive interaction category.
So it's funny that you say that because I kind of went down a rabbit hole last night. Yeah, it's like we said in the beginning, we love all things paranormal, spooky, all
Yeah.
those things. But I've heard of, I know what a mimic is. I've
Oh,
heard of,
mimics.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know everything about them. And so I went on a deep dive on TikTok, which isn't always the most reliable, but there are definitely some interesting things that are talked about, but then also captured. But, sometimes those things are fake. So,
Do you want to talk about what you learned? Mimics? About mimics?
well, the thing, yeah, sure. There is a difference between a mimic and what are those things with that like doppelgangers?
Skinwalkers? I don't
No,
know.
it was something. Well, this is my problem with reading and learning something where I don't write things down. I need
Yeah.
I need visuals, so otherwise it just literally goes in through one ear and out the other. Um, but yeah, mimics, they tend to use the voice
Mm-hmm.
um, of somebody familiar. And there's another one that is different than a mimic that can take on the voice, but also the appearance of somebody familiar.
Which
Um,
is horrifying.
and so, I mean, going back to, I think the first conversation that we had in the first episode, you and I both, we've talked about how there are many beliefs and things out there, but if we haven't experienced them, maybe that's not so much part of our belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am not saying that that doesn't exist, but I haven't experienced that, thankfully. I feel like one time I did hear one of my kids say mom.
Ooh,
Yeah. And then I go and I look and both of them are asleep. So,
they just get the moms.
I mean, and that's the thing. Could it be like the child spirit that passed through for you?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be just someone passing through? Yeah. Do I think it was a mimic? No, because it was one time and it never, like, I didn't feel negative vibes. It was just like, huh? Um,
Yeah.
and nowadays, what's frustrating, I think, is that with the AI stuff,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot easier for folks to fake things.
Yes, I've already seen so many like fake humanoid figures crawling, saying
Yes.
that they're like crazy possessed people, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to sound like I have my tinfoil hat on, but it's hard to believe anything that you don't see.
And so that's what I'm trying to get at, where I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that absolutely does not exist, but I'm saying that it could be people are talking about their experiences with it. It could be, but I need to be able to see it
Yeah. And girl, I'm
to.
willing. I would do an exorcism, I think.
Would you?
I for sure think I would.
Oh my God.
Would you? If I called you tomorrow and I said, bitch, This husband just called me and said that his
Yeah.
wife is possessed, or this mom just called me her kid is possessed. Like
Mm-hmm.
for real.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in it with me or are you
I
out?
think I
What would you
think
say?
well with you, because I feel like you're very, very how do you say? You will look at the scary thing in its face kind of person.
Yeah, I am.
And and so I feel like because I would be with someone else who looks at the scary thing in the face, then that's pretty powerful. So I'd be like, okay, but also, did the kid eat
Yeah.
like poppy seeds? What is it? Did they drink something that
Yeah. Have they been getting good sleep? Have you seen a pediatrician?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I would think first.
for sure. But if somebody like really like the fucking Conjuring turned around and started like spewing Latin at me, I think I can
Mm-mm.
hold it down.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just delusion. Like, you see people on TikTok do things and you're like, guess what my ego says? I
Yeah.
can do that. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it. I feel like me and my guitar and a
Uh-huh.
little bit of oil, we can get
Oh,
through anything.
I feel like that's one of those animated series waiting to happen. The Singing
The
Witch
singing witch
with her
during
guitar
exorcisms.
flying through the sky with her guitar and her oil.
TLC, pick it up. Pick it up. That's my dream job. For real. I want to be Lorraine Warren minus the Catholicism.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they did a lot of interesting investigations.
And if I have to call on Jesus Christ, girl, I'm going to.
Oh yeah.
I know I've renounced the man as the Messiah, our Lord and Savior, the only God.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I don't think you're powerful. Come on, come help me out.
Oh
We
yeah.
can do it together. If I need to, I'll call on my day one.
Mm-hmm.
And Hecate
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit, all the earth spirits and the demons that are bored and all the
Mm-hmm.
things. We can band
Oh,
together.
cause they'll help you.
The band is back together. Yeah, I think they would help me.
Yeah.
Throw them a couple pieces of pizza, give them a new target, and say a prayer to them. I think it would be okay. Call me naive, but also call me if you need an exorcism. I have gone to somebody's house though that they thought was haunted. And I did
Ooh.
confirm that it was, that the
Uh-huh.
spirits were active there, but I think it was just their family, just familiars. I was like, you got to be okay with them being here. It's all
Uh,
right. You don't need to be scared.
and if they don't want them there, you can say, "Hey, I'm so glad you're here, Grandma, but I really don't want to hear you walking around at night."
100%. 100%. What to you is an indicator of a positive spirit? Speaking of grandma,
Hmm.
or a spirit that's helpful. I feel like if they're helpful, they're usually quiet and they just give you advice in your mind or however is digestible for you.
That's actually, yeah. I think for me, when I think of positive, it's kind of like when you were talking about the positive familiar and then
Hmm.
positive unfamiliar.
Yeah, that's good.
And so positive familiar, I have had experiences where um it's usually around the stairs now that I'm thinking about it. I was walking down the stairs one day and I smelled roses all of a sudden, or like a floral scent. And my abuela came up. She was the first person I thought about. And I was like, okay, I'm I'm in a home. There's no no bouquet of roses. There's no, looking
Yeah.
for the explanation. And but then I was like, okay, I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna keep going. And when I went back up the stairs, something that belonged to her was on the stairs.
What?
Yes, because I was going to bring it up, but I hadn't brought it up the stairs. And then I was like, okay, I am sure that that was you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I will take the thing upstairs.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. So with positive unfamiliar, well, in one of the episodes, and that hasn't come out yet, but in one of the episodes, we were talking about connecting with John at the cemetery.
Uh-huh.
And so that was an unfamiliar to me, but I didn't feel uncomfortable. That's all I can
Yeah, and it didn't
explain.
feel chaotic.
Yeah.
It felt like warm, neutral,
Yeah.
calm. Yeah, kind. And it like almost felt familiar, right? At that
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I agree with you. I think positive spirits are uh, respectful. They respect your boundaries
Mm-hmm.
without you having to set them first.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even helpful at sometimes to give you clarity, protect your house. Land spirits are often positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the river, when you go to the ocean, they regard you as part of creation as well. So yeah, I think it just feels inviting rather than
Mm-hmm.
hostile, like you might pick up with a negative entity.
You know, I have experienced being in a different place where I've walked into a room and it felt like you said earlier that there was somebody there and I was uncomfortable, but as soon as I said something like, "Hey, I'm just here," and this is in my head, or if I'm alone, I'll say it out loud. "Hey, I'm just here to grab something," or "Hey, I'm just passing through." Hey, just acknowledging that there is someone there. If it's positive, I feel like the tension goes down.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. We used to attend the same metaphysical group
Yeah.
in our town, and I would always acknowledge the house spirit. I never did before, which is my
Hmm.
bad. Okay. Breaking like metaphysics 101. It's known as a haunted house. Hello, I should have been acknowledging the spirits, but I didn't until I felt afraid by it almost.
Hmm.
Like, again, watched, observed, and not
Hmm.
alone
Hmm.
and nervous. And then I started acknowledging her and it got better. And I started understanding her when I would acknowledge her, and
Yeah.
started to be able to get to see her perspective clearly.
What's funny
So,
is I was talking about that space.
uh-huh. Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I'm
I
dead.
I specifically when sometimes we'd have to go get extra chairs because there were lots of folks, and so I knew where the chairs were and they were in this closet, and it was always that where I would go into the closet. I'm like, "Hey, I'm just grabbing a chair."
Sorry, excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse me, I'll be right out.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. In that house, it was potent
Yeah.
with energy. Love
Yeah.
her. Love them.
Yeah.
If you don't want a spirit in your house, though, what are you going to do about it?
Call Ghostbusters.
Call Ghostbusters. Number
Yeah.
one, get out the yellow pages, dial them
Yeah.
up.
Who, who,
Bring back the
well,
yellow pages, okay?
I guess, hold on, Destiny.
Are you having a haunting right now?
So it was, it was a child's voice. I was like, what is that? They were yelling. It's my kid, just full of energy outside with their friend. So yeah.
I said, perfect. Glad it was your kid.
Right? It was scary, of course. See, so those are the things, right? Where right now it's dark outside and you hear something that is not normal to hear around this time. So you're gonna be suddenly on high alert.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, Heidi, you have a spirit in your house that you don't want there. What are you going to do about it?
So I think the first thing that I would do um is find out who or what it is.
Yeah, true. So you can figure out how to take care of it. You got to know what you're
Yeah.
sick with to know what medicine to get.
Yeah. And what is the intention? Why are they there? that's how I would start that. And then it's exactly what you said, depending on what it is, I think there are different methods, different ways. I do smoke cleansing with incense or something. I don't do it as often as I would like, but to get the just sort of stagnant energy of emotions, because emotions can feel overwhelming sometimes, right? And they become residual sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so opening the windows, going around with some incense. I haven't had to do the sort of baking the pots. Um,
Oh yeah. I'm not a pot banger either.
I haven't had to do that, thankfully. But also, as far as sound, I love using a bell.
Oh yes, I have a bell.
Yeah.
I love a smoke cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
As we said earlier, I love oil.
Mm-hmm.
I make my own anointing, blessing, banishing, protection oil. Water is great. Ocean water,
Mm-hmm.
river water. Then strategically placing herbs around is also something I
Well,
use.
how do you use the water in terms of banishing?
I will get the water usually from the river, wash my
Mm-hmm.
door with it while I like say a prayer over it or draw out loud boundaries. I will bless it while I sing blessings
Yeah.
into it or intention into it. I sing most often as like a sound cleansing and play the piano. I think I already said I'm a big fan of the bell.
Yeah.
Um and you know what? Oftentimes I'll do a combination of them all.
Yeah.
Might as well make a little cocktail, banishment cocktail, and it usually takes care of the problem. Does what it
Yeah.
needed to do. If you think your house is haunted, always investigate the mundane before you get scared. If you
Mm-hmm.
hear a creaking, if a window's repeatedly closing, if, like I said earlier, if you're sick, if you and your partner aren't doing well, investigate the cause thoroughly in the real world
Mm-hmm.
before you fault to it being a haunting or negative energy because you could drive yourself into the spiritual psychosis hospital really quick. We don't want that.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
little cleansing, a little refresh never hurts, but always consider the actuality of your circumstance before
Yes.
you get scared into an exorcism.
Yeah. Or you have to call us for
Or you have to call us, but call us anyway.
call us anyway.
Let us know how it goes at least. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
And if you've experienced a haunting or if you need help with the haunting and you
Mm-hmm.
need advice, you can
Yeah.
send us an email.
I forgot about that. You can.
You can. Our email will be linked in the episode description
Yes.
so that you can get in contact with us. We would love to chat with you. We have a haunted visit coming up at an undisclosed location, and hopefully you'll be able to hear about it later this month.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not new to this. We're true to this.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Oh yeah.
And while you're dealing with this, always remember that you
You are
are the
the
vessel
vessel
in
in
between.
between.
You can navigate the space, you can set the boundaries, you can do all the work that we're going to do. You just have to be brave enough to do it. So good luck. Good luck with your ghosts. Call us if you need us. We are your resident Ghostbusters, but you won't find us in the yellow pages.
And you won't find us wearing that uniform.
No, I don't know that they make it in plus sizes. So
Well, also, I don't really like the color.
the khaki, yeah, not our thing. We need one black uniform, one pink one, and
Okay,
then we can wear uniforms.
and really quick, I was thinking about you and I the other day, and I was like, it is literally like Wednesday and her friend.
It is. That's how I am with everybody. The goths love me.
Oh, that's
You
funny.
should have seen me and my friends during Pride. We went to
Mm-hmm.
goth night after,
Mm-hmm.
and you got in with $5 if you
Mm-hmm.
were in goth attire, and you had to pay like $10 if you were in color.
Oh
I
my
was the only
God.
one that had to pay $10. And my group of four people, all of them already naturally dressed goth. It wasn't even planned for that event. That's just how they come. That's their default.
Oh,
but
I
I
love
had to
it.
pay because I was in orange and pink. And I think
Yep.
that's lesbian phobic. Anyway, you are one of my black cats that I keep.
Yes.
Love it. We'll start looking for uniforms next week.
Okay.
Wait for that update, everybody. Okay, bye.
Bye.